Hi everyone, it's Penny Astrology here with a Sunday vlog. I'm trying to do vlogs every Sunday, but I really struggle with being consistent because I have Saturn in Aquarius in my sixth house. The sixth house is the house of routines and daily responsibilities, and Aquarius is like the most unconventional and out there sign, and Saturn is the planet of struggles and challenges and areas where we have to learn to become responsible over time. So, you know what? I don't know how long this is going to last, but today, this Sunday, we are here with a vlog. And I wanted to share with you some personal experiences. As someone who has Sun in the 12th house and Moon in Capricorn, I do have trouble opening up about a lot of things. And I've tried to do it on my YouTube channel many times, but usually I just end up recording a video where I talk about what's going on in my life. And then I never actually upload it because it's just oh my gosh, I'm vulnerable. Like, I don't look good right now. I put in effort to learn to be more vulnerable and to roll over onto my back as a lion, like rolling over onto my back and letting myself be vulnerable to attack or whatever may come from it, because I think there's beauty in that, and I want other people to feel like they can be vulnerable and safe with me as well, and I'm not going to hurt them and attack them just because I can. So this experience that I've had lately, I've had so many things in my life that have traumatized me and I feel like I've had to overcome, and I had worked a job that I really didn't like, and I left it and I felt it was for the better, and like leaving that job, leaving that environment, at first I thought it was great, but then I just got subject to more of like the same bad experiences anyway, and that kind of sucked. So this is like a process that has gone on for longer than a year. And basically, like, the idea that's always in my head is that I can just never escape the hell of my life. Like, the hell is always going to come through in some other way. And that's kind of like a real spiritual thing. That's a spiritual lesson coming at us and finding its way to us no matter what we do to try and avoid it. Kind of like you have a bad relationship with one person and you like blame that person for it, and you're like, oh, that was bad, I don't want that again, I'm cutting that person out of my life. And then you go into the next relationship and you have the same bad experience. Well, that can happen with things like jobs and stuff like that as well. It doesn't have to be relationships for everyone. And honestly, someone who has Saturn in the sixth house, it makes sense that it would be, you know, things like job and daily routines and like living situations and all of that kind of thing. So basically we have to learn our lesson because it's going to find its way to us no matter what. And I know it's annoying, but it happens. So I put myself back into the workforce again because I went through this past year with hardly any income. Like, something happened, not even just in terms of my employment and my situation, but something happened to me spiritually that cut off my flow of cash. Like, I stopped even selling astrology readings. I might have sold a small handful this past year before I recently started picking things back up. And if you're watching this video and you're like, hey, I bought a reading, what is she talking about? Trust me, you are a very small handful of people, and I appreciate you, I value you, I remember you, but I made almost nothing. And I just went over my tax returns and all that, so I was able to review that lovely experience of having almost no income. And I basically just barely made it by. Like, I had very hard financial times. Luckily, I had good credit, so I was able to just put basically everything on my credit card for that year, and then I rack up this credit card debt just from buying normal things like groceries and all of that. And then it puts me at like a very rough starting point for trying to get back on my feet again, which is what I have tried to do this year. I tried to really like step up and be like, okay, this I've got to fix this. I've got to fix like whatever's wrong. I got to find the problem. I got to get it with a hammer and a nail, and I got to bang away at it until I have some stability, until I have like stable ground underneath my feet so that I can support myself and my daughter and not have these problems. And I didn't even have like a child support order until recently, so I wasn't even guaranteed to get child support. And it's just like all these like insanely stressful things, and I was discouraged about life. Like, oh my gosh, I was so discouraged, and I was just trying to keep my head up all the time, trying to force myself to get up out of bed and keep going and don't give up. And I feel like the only thing that like got me through that, the only thing that got me to survive, is the fact that I was doing boxing and other martial arts almost every single day, like for many, many hours a day. And that kept my spirits high, and that allowed me to keep going and keep getting good grades in school, because I am in college right now. And, you know, to keep trying to like maintain my relationships with people and everything like that. Cause like, I could probably count on one hand the amount of mornings in this past year where I actually like wanted to get out of bed. But usually if I got out of bed, it was because I knew I was going to be able to like go box or something like that. And I really, really loved boxing. And I just had this like lull. And as a 12th houser, I've had so many periods of confusion about who I actually am. And it's made it kind of hard at times to have a public life and to feel like I'm supposed to show you guys who I really am. And I've developed some like different ideas about like what identity actually is. And I mean, we have souls, like our souls are real, and identity is just kind of like a role we take on in this incarnation. And sometimes we can take on more than one role, and it's weird, and it's like kind of difficult to accept at first, and sometimes it makes me feel like I'm like a complete fraud or something, but I'm not. And I'm here, and I'm being honest, and I'm being genuine, and I'm talking to you about my feelings, and you know, hopefully people will actually receive this well, and you know, see what's in my heart and feel like what's in their heart can relate to what's in my heart, and all that beautiful mushy gushy stuff. So I had this experience. I had just gotten back into this job that I really didn't want to be working. Didn't want to be working it, but I bit the bullet. I had tried to bite the bullet many, many months ago and just forced myself to get back into it anyway because I needed the money. But I finally just got to a point where I felt okay doing it, and I was managing. So I had like my first day at my job, and then the next day, like the very next day that I worked, my babysitter told me that she had gotten sick. And, you know, that's awful. I hope she's feeling better. Things like that happen in life. But also, I'm new to the area. I just moved to this area, and I didn't really have much of a backup babysitter. You know, babysitters can be hard to come by to begin with. Like, finding a babysitter so that you can go to work adds a lot of extra stress to everything. Anyone who's a parent, especially a single parent, probably knows that. So I'm frantically trying to find a babysitter somewhat last minute. Because we didn't know that my babysitter was going to get sick and everything. And I'm just messaging everyone I know. I probably messaged at least 20 people, frantically trying to find a babysitter. And maybe after about 2 hours of this, and just trying to believe that, okay, I'm going to find a way to make it to work anyway because I need the money, I need to make the money, I need to show up, I need to not get fired, all that stuff. After 2 hours of messaging people frantically on my phone, I find a babysitter. The babysitter is almost an hour away. It's like 48 minutes away. So I have to drive 48 minutes to get to this babysitter's house. But I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to do it. I message my boss. I tell her I'm coming in. I managed to find a babysitter, but she's like way out in this area, and I'm probably going to be a little bit late. So whatever. I drive out there, and I get a little bit lost because it's out in the country, and I get stuck in a ditch. Yeah, I'm like trying to pull my vehicle out in like some kind of like rural area, and I get stuck in a little ditch. And the ditch has like this like big metal pipe in it that I hear nastily grinding up against my vehicle as I slide into the ditch deeper and deeper. And there's like big rocks in the ditch as well. And I'm just like, it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound like I'm gonna get out of the ditch. So I get out of my car, basically expecting to see like a popped tire or something like that. You know, I was ready for my tire to begin its deflation process. And I look at the situation, and I'm like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get out of this. I really don't. Like, this looks bad. This looks like I'm not going to make it to work. And all I can think is, I shouldn't have tried so hard. I shouldn't have gone against the current, because the current was telling me, no, don't go to work. It's not happening tonight. No, you're not going to get to make any money. That's what's happening in my life. And I try to resist it. I try to do the thing anyway. I try to overcome the obstacles, and bam, wham, like it bites me in the butt. And I feel like sometimes I just need to learn to give up and to accept that it's not going to happen. Throw in the towel, go away, go home, Penny, go home. And that's like all I can think about, like how stupid and stubborn and impossible I am. But I'm like, okay, I look at my car and I'm like, definitely don't go in reverse. Going in reverse would be bad. If I can go forward and I can turn around, I might be able to get out of this. Might. Because all I'm thinking is, who am I going to call other than like the tow agency? And here I am alone with my child and I don't know anyone in this area. So I get in my car and I accidentally put the car in reverse. You know, when you're concentrating so hard on something, sometimes you just manifest it and you make it happen. And all I was thinking was, don't go in reverse. Don't go in reverse. So I put the car in reverse. I try to go in reverse. I hear this nasty like grinding, like making stone soup up against the bottom, the vulnerable parts of my vehicle. I hear those nasty noises. And then I'm like, oh crap, Penny, why did you do that? And then I put it in drive. I put my vehicle in drive. And I move. And it's hard. It's kind of hard to move. But I managed to get out. And I get out of the ditch. And it wasn't that hard. And I'm like, I get out and I look at my vehicle. And I look at the tire. And I'm like, you know what? It actually looks okay. I didn't have any like warnings pop up on my windshield or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is going to work. Maybe I got out of the ditch and I was okay. So I get back in my car and I turn around. I drive around and I make it to the babysitter's house and I'm like, oh yeah, I got lost and I got stuck in a ditch, but thank you for watching my kid and everything. And then I go to work. I have a good shift and everything's perfectly fine. And I'm starting to pay off my credit card debt. And I realized that night really made me realize, I think I'm actually going to be able to pay off my credit card. I think I'm actually going to be able to continue paying my bills. I'm going to be able to get out of this horrible situation. And I think I'm actually going to be okay. I'm actually going to be able to fix whatever has happened in my life, whatever has been thrown at me. I'm going to be able to get out of whatever ditches I've been stuck in. Even though I felt like it was impossible and I felt like I shouldn't have even tried. I felt like I should have given up years ago. But I realized I was going to make it out of it. And that was really kind of a beautiful experience. And I feel like that little ditch that I got stuck on the way at work, it became like such a big metaphor and kind of like spiritual awakening that like really showed me that I was going to be able to get out of this. Even though sometimes I feel crazy and stupid for even trying. Like I don't know why I bother. I think everyone asks themselves this at some point. Like, why do I bother? Why am I trying so hard? And a lot of the work I have done in life has felt like it has been for nothing. I seem to have a continuous process of that. My first attempt to do something with my life was emergency medical training. I was going to work on an ambulance. I was going to be like a superhero. It was going to be so cool, right? So I was pretty enthusiastic about that, and I finished the course and everything, but I didn't actually get to the point where I was working on an ambulance, and instead I had a kid. And then my husband cheated on me, and we ended up getting a divorce. And then I'm like, why did I put all my effort into this marriage? Why did I put all my effort and money into this emergency medical training when I didn't actually become an EMT or a paramedic or any of that stuff? And I'm like, what am I doing with any of this? You know, I've worked so hard at my martial arts training. It's something I've been like really passionate and enthusiastic about. But what am I actually going to do with it? like, what was I going to do with it? I figured, you know, I should probably train to fight people. Becoming a professional fighter is like the only sense I can make out of this. But then I have to come to terms with the fact that I'm soft and squishy on the inside, and I don't actually want to hurt people, even though, like, I don't think there's anything morally wrong with the sport. I think it's a very, like, inspirational and symbolic concept, but I don't think that I was born to fight in a cage. I don't feel like that's what I'm really meant to do. And, like, yes, there's a part of me that wants to do it just because I love the sport so much, and I enjoy the training, and I enjoy the symbolism of fighting. But I couldn't bring myself to do it, and I feel like I've wasted so much time and so much energy and so many resources just trying to figure out what the heck I was actually gonna do. And, you know, then I get to this point where I run out of resources, and I have to scramble and find answers, and find ways out of this ditch. And, you know, I think I finally realized that it's going to be okay, and I'm doing well, and life is a process. It's just a process, man. But anyway, go ahead and, you know, let me know in the comments, or send me a message or whatever. If you want to just send me a random email or random message just talking about your life, or you want to book a reading so that we can talk about it over the phone, and maybe you need some advice or something like that, then we can definitely do that as well. But I want you guys to feel comfortable being able to open up to me like I'm opening up to you right now. And trust me, it's hard to put this video on YouTube knowing that anyone who wants to watch it can watch it. And there's like billions of people out there in the world, and I don't know who's going to watch it and who isn't. I really don't. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching my channel. I hope you will continue to enjoy the astrology, numerology, and tarot content that I put out there. And I will have more of that for you very soon. I'm trying to do the alphabet videos on Mondays, and then tarot and astrology videos on other days. So definitely stay tuned for that. All right, thanks guys. Bye.